Welcome back everybody to Andertons TV, and we are doing a special episode of Meet the Maker today because we've got Chris and Paul here who are basically the pedal porn guys. Now, pedal porn is a British-made pedal brand that is a relative newcomer to the scene, but we're going to talk about their history and you know, their experience with guitar playing and pedals and stuff. But when you get a letter like this, we'll probably just do a close-up of it. When you get a letter like this, which I'll be honest with you, I was pretty sure that you know, John promised me destroyed all these photographs, but clearly these guys have hacked his Google Cloud account and found them or something. When you get a letter like that saying, I hope we get to jam one day, please try our pedals, you kind of can't ignore that, right?
You're going to get about 1,000 of them now. It's
Yeah, from every brand of pedal that would like Andertons to stock it now, naked pictures of us and John Mayer. So welcome.
Thank you, mate.
To Andertons.
This is literally like one of those bucket list events for us. We literally
dream come true.
As we were saying before, your watch time is probably half of us. It's crazy. So yeah.
Well, look, I mean, honestly, you know, thank you very much for those kind words. But and I was saying to you before we were rolling, I am genuinely impressed nowadays when a new pedal brand somehow floats high enough that, you know, people start talking about it, and you've got quite a well followed Instagram page, you've got some artists using the pedals and stuff, because, you know, let's be honest with you, the world needs another pedal brand like it needs a hole in the head, really. So first and foremost, tell us about the name, where that came from, and then tell us a little bit about yourselves in terms of your background as players and pedal makers and all that kind of stuff.
Nice one, right. Cut me off if I'm going for too long, because this is like a long story, but
it's all good.
Pedal porn,
yeah.
The hashtag on Instagram, if you guys ever saw that, it's like a, it was spelt in a slightly different way, but we thought we'd go with it, you know, play on it a little bit, and that was becoming very popular because pedal nerds like us, first and foremost, we're players, you know, we are players, so we went down that avenue of like, what do we need that's not on the market? So, but both me and Paul are actually like Dell boys at heart. We want a good deal when we can find one. So the origins of pedal porn was, there's actually utility in the name as well. We were opened up as like basically a pawn shop. We'd go on eBay and Reverb and just find the best deals we could. And, you know, as it says on our site, the site of a, and it says on our website, the sight of a vintage Fuzz face has always been more attractive to us than like
damn right.
a lady. You know? so it's that sort of vibe. So we just
so cool. So yeah, pawning your old pedals to buy new ones, and look, I like it. It's a cool kind of, and the pedal porn hashtag, like you say, this probably must have hundreds of thousands of people follow that kind of hashtag now. But
I tell you what, every so often you get like a weird woman's foot on like a car pedal, and it's so follow at your own peril. But yeah,
but the and tell us about you guys as players, because I'm sort of feeling that the whole direction of the brand so far has been about, you know, capturing quite iconic sort of, you know, Strat Fuzz type players. So, you know, tell us about how, you know, who did you grow up loving, and has that, you know, essentially steered the direction of the pedal brand?
Well, it's probably no secret that we're massive Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix fans. Like, I got played a Stevie Ray Vaughan CD when I was a kid by my stepdad, and that was the moment where I knew I wanted to be involved with guitar for the rest of my life. And funny enough, those tones up on that very concert are what these two pedals are modelled on, which we can get into later on.
Sure.
But yeah, you know, I was lucky enough to, you know, then form my own band and just try and make a go of it as a struggling musician. As you know, we've all been there. And I was sort of like lucky enough to play at like Carnegie Hall and like USA and just different.
Amazing.
Yeah, just it was like, you know, a crazy few years, and then the point hit where I needed more pedals because I had no money. I had no money from like, you know, the gigging, so I ended up going on eBay, finding the best deals I could, and just sort of, you know, just buying as many pedals. And Paul's the same, like you're
buying,
you know,
selling, trading, but you've also like sold very rare pedals to like Josh Scott and people like that, isn't it? So
Well, you've ended up with rare pedals that he's wanted to buy.
I became, as he called me, his guy.
He is like the Joe Bonamassa of the pedal world, isn't it? Just like, it's just disgusting how, you know, he's got so many pedals. But Paul, what was your, you know, when you were learning to play, who was your same kind of vibe, Hendrix and Stevie Ray?
Very much. My dad used to play in the 60s, and he was saying on the way down there, wasn't he? But he had to give it all up when my brother was came along.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad, you know, because he'd be watching it. So yeah, and then he sort of gave up a lot of stuff, but he always wanted to get back into guitar. So I think I must have been like 12, something like that, when he then got a Strat again, and that was it. I was just, come on, let's show me some of those tricks and that, and his stories from the '60s, and you know, all his touring and stuff. And so I always loved it from that. And then I got a junior Strat at some point, little Hank Marvin red jobby, and yeah, it sort of evolved from there. And you know, we'd go on holidays, and you'd always have to go to a guitar shop and buy something, that
Brilliant.
kind of thing. So, but I then went into engineering career-wise, which is good because then it helps with technical stuff. And yeah, sort of since I've been involved in the pedal porn world, it's been really great to come back into that music roots. And yeah, and a lot of it is I'd not only buy myself a pedal, but then buy my dad a pedal as well, and then my brother wants a pedal because he plays bass as well. So yeah,
in fact, that's actually that's how we met. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, it was. I was after a double barrel, JHS double barrel. And yeah, saw it online, you know, as you do, looking on Revo, finding for the best deal and that, and then haggled. We like a good haggle, that's for sure. And we just pinged loads of messages back and got to know each other. I went back to get my dad one, and then got spring tank, a couple of other things, didn't I? So and then it was a random thing where Chris said to me one day, "Do you want to come along?" Oh no, that was it, because I asked to buy my own kit to build my own fuzz because I was such a cheapskate. But I didn't want to pay the whole. I was like, I could probably build one of them, and yeah, don't you know? So that was how it came about. And then Chris said, "Oh, you know, you built one, so would you like to join on board?" And
that shows our hiring criteria.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the interview, was it? You've successfully put a DIY pedal together. You're hired. Well, okay. So, what have you bought today? Got four pedals on the table.
4 pedals on the table. Yeah.
You know. Some new, some been out for a while, but you know, tell us what you've got. Which was the first one that you guys designed?
This is where it all started, actually, and I don't know if you have had many in the shop or not, because they're really old effects now. But there's Caesar Diaz was Steve Ray Vaughan's guitar tech,
Caesar,
right? And
bow down.
Yeah, he's like the guy, and he used to modify Steve Ray Vaughan's fuzz faces.
Okay.
And he ended up taking that modification and making it into his own fuzz pedal, which was called the Texas Square Face.
Right.
Those pedals are now unattainable because
stupid.
Josh has bought them all.
And Chris has got some.
I'm probably guilty a little bit on that one. But, so we one day I was going around to Kinky Keith's house, our main engineer.
Kinky Keith.
Okay.
We've all got dodgy names, haven't we?
Oh, by the way, Paul's official name is Pervy Paul. I don't know if you.
Wow. Yeah. Fine. Okay. And go on then. Yours is.
I'm just Chris.
Oh, yours is Chris. Okay. Fine like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we like a silly name on Andertons, don't we? So that's fine. Okay. So so did it just not have a name? Is it just the pedal porn?
Pedal porn fuzz.
Pedal porn fuzz.
Yeah. I didn't really want to. You know, maybe this is a branding, you know, catastrophe, but I was a bit like, I don't want it to be a quirky name. Yeah, because I thought I want it to be maybe one day considered the end to all fuzz. And I thought,
wow.
Yeah, it was a bit.
He was young back then.
Yeah, I was young back then. Yeah.
So we've got Fuzz. That one I've seen on Instagram loads. So
yeah, that
Texas
is our best
Twang.
seller actually. Yeah.
I'm guessing that we've got a very Hendrix inspired vibe pedal there. Why is it so massive? Is it just
it
just
sounds
crazy
better.
components
Bigger box.
inside? Is that what it is? Just loads of air inside. Sounds better.
It makes the light bounce around better.
Tone air. Tone air. That's what it is.
There is something to do with that. There is something to do with the fact that if we compacted that into a small box like that, would you have taken it seriously?
No, probably. I don't know. There's a vintage thing, isn't there? I mean, what did I open up the other day? Somebody had an old Fuzz of some sort or other. I can't remember. But an old one, and it was in a huge metal case, maybe not dissimilar to that.
Yeah.
And it literally had a little like postage stamp style board with like 3 components on it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Why did you need to do that anyway?
Yeah.
So we'll come on to that in a minute, and then this is the new one, right?
This has not been seen anywhere, so we thought we'd unveil it on
super
Andertons.
exclusive.
Yeah, totally. Literally, we've actually been requested to do our own take on, you know, an Octavia for years. It's been one of the, like, every day we get people saying, "Can you make an Octavia?" And we actually based this on my 2 favourite vintage effects. I've got like a Tycho Brahe Octavia, which is the original 70s one, and then also the Roger Mayer. Yeah. We blended the 2 best sides of it, you know, to my ears, and then that's what we've ended up with. So Yeah, it's
We like
I mean,
it.
so this is your basic go-to sound like Jimi Hendrix kind of pedal. In fact, you could probably lose one of these, couldn't you, as well? But okay, let's start with some playing. I mean, you're obviously a good player yourself, got some good chops. We found you an amp. We're trying to get that sense of like a blisteringly gunned Fender sound, but obviously not blowing the windows out kind of volume. So again, on here we're driving the clean channel of the V140 a lot hotter than not the clean channel, sorry, like the preamp gain a lot hotter than we would normally do. So got this killer parts caster here. I'll talk a little bit about that, I think, towards the end of the video. People are going to love how massive the neck is on that. But just you go. I mean, by the looks of things, the pedals are all pretty simple, right? So what do you want to start with?
The Fuzz. I think the Fuzz it's got to be, it's the first one we ever did.
Let's do it.
Do you want a bit of a bypass tone or?
Yeah, please. Let's hear it without. So.
That's the
So as you can see, quite a bit of gain from the amplifier, and I think that's where you're in your happy place, aren't you? When it's like all on the edge of explosion.
Most of the sound.
And again, you're gunning the volume all the way up. Fuzz is most of the way up. It's like this is going to hurt everybody. So let's do this.
And then they're pretty crazy, they're noisy. It's got all the quirks of a vintage Fuzz bass,
because it went. So I think we got to sort of say these are quite inherently old school circuits, and if you listen to any guitar player, I remember we had Eric Johnson here doing a clinic once, and it was like as soon as he stopped playing, the background noise threshold, we were just like, why would you let that? And he's like, how is that even? How do you live with that? It's like, and he's a bit like, but it's part of the sound. It's like if I use, because we were talking about, couldn't you earth the amps better, and couldn't you use different power supplies and all this kind of stuff? He was like, I've done all that, I've eliminated all the huzz, and then it just doesn't sound right. So there is this like warts and all vibe with this sound, isn't there? So. Yes, if you decide to go down one of these pedal porn fuzz things, be prepared for like an old school kind of, you are going to get some noise. But I was really, you were sort of started off that with the guitar all the way up, and it was hitting the front of the amplifier, so it gets quite compressed. But then as soon as you rolled the volume down, it went very spitty, and like you could really hear almost like that sort of gated fuzz thing, sort of doing a weird, counterintuitive thing, but I don't know. Maybe can you kind of try and demonstrate that more, sort of just as a just showing it off rather than doing it whilst you're playing.
Sure, Or just on that note, that is one of the things we really tried to dial in when we were designing it, because. And that's what the original Texas square faces do. That Caesar, we were talking about with Caesar Diaz. It's just that, and if you listen to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan records, you get that glassy Tin Pan Alley sound like that. So, by the way, if you go full down, it goes crazy. But like, and if you roll it up ever so slightly, you get that. You go full out, and it goes crazy. By the way, when you on a vintage Fuzz bass, if you move the volume down to 0, that's when it goes berserk. So it's not actually our pedals.
Some weird impedance thing, isn't it? Where it just sort of you get more noise with the guitar all the way off, which is weird. I do kind of feel it's very much it's a heat of the moment pedal, isn't it? It's like it's almost like here I go and the noise is going to be crazy. It must be an interesting challenge to try and record subtle pieces of that. Although I did really like that kind of, you know, when you said that sort of glassiness, that first tone that you had, there were real shades of a Stevie Ray kind of sound in there.
Yeah. When you roll it off, it really does come into its own, doesn't it? With that real glassy, clear.
Why do you gun it? I mean, out of
There's
interest.
no other way.
So it's just that's how it would have been if, you know, on the old square. What did you call it?
Texas square faces. Yeah.
But you can turn it. I actually do use it turned down. You're
Paul's
like
more sensible than me.
Yeah, I use it more sensibly, but Chris is just
what's
full on.
What's a convention? Let me just try it with the volume down a little bit and see what's. I like the volume all the way up adds an extra level of treble into it, I think, as well.
It does actually. I forgot about that side of it. That's what it does. Yeah. You worked it out. Yeah. The volume gets that more glassy output, and that output dictates a lot of the glassiness. So.
Okay, so that's the original Fuzz. Did the Texas Twang come second?
It did, yeah. The Texan Twang is also a Cesar Diaz design, which was no longer available. Like again, they're close to how much? Like thousands, aren't they?
Yes,
really.
silly money, and hard to find as well, aren't they? Because everyone now knows how much they're worth, and they're going for silly money.
How much they're worth.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I know. I mean, I tried to buy a. I was part of a consortium of people that bought the Burns guitar company about 3 years ago, and apologies to all the Burns fans that we haven't managed to relaunch it yet, but it's coming. Anyway, I tried to buy a Maestro Fuzz.
Nice,
and I think doing the research on that, less than 100 were ever made, maybe even less than 50 were ever made. And again, it's like if you find someone that's got one, not only do they not only do they like, I don't want to sell it, but they'll tell you that they paid like $6,000 or $7,000 for it.
Oh,
like,
wow, yeah.
Hello.
It's either that or they found it in their dad's shed or something.
Yeah, or maybe that. But I think it's the price of these pedals is nothing to do with how they sound and everything to do with how hard they are to find.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
and the cool factor in it.
Yeah, the cool factor. But okay, tell us about this Texan Twang. I've been calling it Texas Twang, and I realise I'm wrong.
It's the Mandela effect. You've heard of that. Everyone always calls it Texas, so we should have gone with that.
So this has a level control and then a three-way high, mid, low switch. So what's that doing?
Right. Well, it's essentially a treble booster at heart. It's It's Cesar Diaz. The original Texas Ranger was Cesar Diaz's take on the Dallas Rangemaster, but he modified it and really just souped it up and made it into its, a real magical unit. And again, because he was Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar tech, there's something in there. Every time I play it, I'm not trying to cause any conspiracy here, but it's like, who knows if you put a bit of that technology in somewhere else in Stevie's set, because it's got that glassiness that you hear in certain recordings. So it's a treble booster, but it gets fat like an overdrive.
And you use that largely on its own, or would you use that in conjunction with another pedal, like another gain or fuzz type?
It gets a
pedal?
bit wacky if you use them both
over
together.
the top. Yeah, okay.
But again, it interacts nicely with the volume control. That's why it's everyone sort of gravitating towards
and
it.
another level on full.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, so we're on the low mode at the moment. Do you want to just step through the modes and show what it does? Yeah.
That'll do,
Hot
won't it?
diggity! Definitely. Now, I know you've just done something for Philip Sace in terms of a special pedal for him, but I don't think I don't think it's clouding. You know, for me, I hear Philip Sace tone here. You know, I mean, hopefully you guys all know who Philip Sace is, and if you don't, go and listen to his music. He is like probably like a living,
awesome.
Breathing reincarnation of some of these people, like on another level.
And a fantastic guy as well.
Yeah,
top bloke.
But some of the I just sit and watch his Instagram thing, and you're waiting for that bend that's just like
never ending.
I mean, it's just like it's boomer bend and some like mega boomer bend. But it is that, and I quite like that. You know, there's another player there who's going, I know there's going to be tons of fuzz and hum and crackle on this guitar signal. Yeah. It's all part of the sound, right? I mean, it's just a...
And it's almost something like, people get a bit romantic about that side of it. They just love that. Again, I was saying before, like you can listen back to some old Hendrix records and you can hear the radio signal coming through the amp, and you hear some guy like trying to sell a fuzz face or something. Just some random shit. It's like
no, it's amazing. Why does Philip Sace almost never seem to tour over here? It's like,
well, we've asked him a few times, and it's because of COVID, it's caused a massive shunt of gigs, so they can't. He's trying to. We keep
even before then, I think in like the whole 10 or 15 years that I've kind of seen him, I think he's been over once or something.
Yeah.
I think
we're after you, Mr. Sace.
Yeah.
So anyway, go check him out. But that's got a very... And how the pedal that you built for him, what was... Because actually that was a bigger enclosure, wasn't it? So what was that doing?
It was actually the same size as that. But Paul, do you want to mention about that?
Yeah, it was for the Gypsy vibe. Because we don't absolutely love his playing, and we've... I don't know if you've heard of it, the Together format. It's like a live streaming thing where you can actually talk to your online artists and that. And it's we got to know him quite a bit, and just he seemed to connect with us, his mindset on stuff, and because of the tones and everything, we thought he might quite like one of these. So we just, I don't know how it came about exactly, but I seemed to get a beamer bonnet. I thought the artwork, his Peace Machine artwork, would look great on it. And
Paul, I've got to say, Paul spent about 100 hours hand doing that finish on it. Honestly, every day he was like, it's nearly perfect. And I was like, Paul, mate, it's never going to be perfect. But it's honestly, was it about 100 hours on it? It was insane.
It was quite a long time, because it's even got like a hand cut out star LED on it. So it's those little bits.
Is that your favourite album of his?
Yeah.
We've actually ordered the vinyl as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we're a bit obsessed. But
I'm still... I can't decide whether or not it's probably his most... polished, if that's the right word, but I'm in a Revolutions kind of
nice, fan.
That's very nice.
I kind of feel it's a little bit more. Some of the other albums are a bit more old school throwback. That one's maybe a bit kind of more studio production type vibe to it, but the songs and the guitar playing are just
amazing, aren't they?
Off the charts. Anyway, come on then. That was a good segue into the Gypsy vibe.
Someone keeps turning these volumes back down. I think is it you?
No. So again, the vibe pedal is like a holy grail, isn't it? Because you've got, I think manufacturers have tried to do digital versions more recently, but even before then, they were trying to get components into smaller boxes just to try and make them more pedalboard friendly. But there's something, whenever you talk to like the real vibe aficionados, they're like, no, you've got to do it like this. It ends up being in a big box. Isn't there some also like the main component wears out, or not wears out, what's the right word? But over time, it changes in character, almost like a valve might do or something like that. So it's a real like no two are the same, alive kind of vibe. But, anyway, you're the engineers. I'm just, the badly informed shop owner about these things. So,
well, I tell you what, it's funny you say about the fact that a lot of people are trying to recreate them, because they are such a hard pedal to nail. And even if you think you've nailed it, people will be like, nah, it's not right. It's just, it took us so long to get that one right.
Even the like enclosure over the bulb on the photocells, you have to be careful with how you design it. And you look at other people and you're like, why have they done it like that?
And you can get the perfect circuit, but you can put the wrong photocells in and it won't work.
Right.
And it's just, we went through about 100 different types of ones, and then, it was mental, but we wanted the deepness and the throb of like a vintage. I've got a really nice old vintage one, and it always has some extra magic, and we use that.
It'd be the lead in the solder or something. Environmentally unfriendly, but well, come on then. We better, because I mean, this is one of my favorite. When I hear this played properly, it's the most. It's the most 3D, fabulous sounding kind of modulation effect, isn't it? So let's have a little listen.
Okay.
So you've got volume here. What is this, like the chorus vibrato kind of switch on it, and then throb, which is this the rate? This is the rate one, is it? And that's the sort of the depth.
That's right.
Side of things.
You can get those more. Yeah, you can get those more like Pink Floydy tones if you back down the like. I just quickly.
Yeah, make it a little bit more traditional, sort of chorusy type effect. You mean?
Yeah. More Leslie sort of things.
And then on the vibrato side of things, how different is that sounding?
Yeah, I'll show you. By the way,
I like the boost it. I like the boost it gives the overall signal as well.
That's something we had to work on. Most vibes go below unity gain, so that's something we really had to like work on. So ours goes above unity gain. So that's
I quite like it when I turn it right down, and it just gives you a little bit more bass and a little bit more depth to everything. It's quite you can use it as a very subtle effect as well as the full-on throb machine that everyone knows it for.
Well, that's actually on the vibrato side. On that note, I love no one really uses the vibrato side of a vibe, do they? It seems to be like, a really obscure thing. But if you use it with some really nice chords, you get like the.
It's really quite. I hope this comes across on YouTube because it's quite freaky sitting in here. How just the tone of it is really reminiscent of that old school. I mean, it's not just the chops that you're playing, but it's like it is just a simple chord can be like
it's 3D, isn't it?
It's quite weird.
Because Pete Thorne picked up on that, didn't he? His review of it, and just said it's just one of those that's got that feel to it, that full 3D feel, because some sound a bit two-dimensional, but we've managed to get that real 3D depth and throb to it that's blows your mind, doesn't it?
Right,
drum roll please. First world premiere of the pedal pawn Octone. So is this is a Fuzz Octave pedal? So this will be used as a stand. It's not like an octave, not an octave effect that you'd run into a Fuzz. It's its own all-in-one
beast,
box. Oh look, the level's on maximum again. Kel surprise.
You can turn them down. It's okay.
Turning down is for wimps. Come on, let's just go. Give it something. I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to play it first and then explain it, or explain it then play it first and then explain it?
Okay,
That's more fun that way.
Nice one. Right, I'm trying to think what to play now. It's the pressure of Andertons. Get to it. That was for Danish Pete.
Does it do the thing when you take the volume down where the octave becomes more pronounced, and then less pronounced as you maybe...
Actually, right, this is one of the things, right? For this, my vintage Tycho Brahe Octavia, even on above the 12th fret, it didn't have that pronounced octave sound. It wasn't. We wanted to get it even more clean than that, so that's where we took inspiration from the Roger Mayer and sort of combined the two. So this can actually, if you back down, for example, on the Tycho Brahe, the setting that on minimum for the Tycho Brahe, that would be there, whereas ours goes all the way back down. So you can always get a clean octave on the.
I have to say, I'm so pleased that you've kind of addressed that issue, because I'm kind of, sometimes I get a bit annoyed with octave pedals because you're going, where's the octave? And it's like, oh, it only works on certain notes, and if I turn the volume down like that. Whereas what you're really going is, I mean, maybe that's authentic, I don't know, but for me it's almost like when I hit the octave pedal on,
it's gone, isn't it?
I want to hear the octave. I don't want to be going, it's here somewhere. So that's kind of cool. It's another mad effect, isn't it? That just like, it's in the wrong context, it's just like, what are you doing? But like all of a sudden it's just some certain Hendrixy sort of stuff. And you're just going, if you didn't have that effect in here, if that in an alternate dimension and Hendrix had just not had that effect on, in his palette, those songs would have just been less good. It's like somehow, it's like mad, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
So go on. What's the actual idea of the level and the boost then as two separate?
Well, this level has to be boosted at all times.
Yes, obviously. Why do you even put knobs on your pedals? Why not just have?
But I tell you what, this gets mental if you whack up the boost.
I'll do it while you're playing.
Okay, yeah. That's the first time Paul's heard it.
I feel like I need a hose down.
Yeah, I mean, if there were marks out of 10 for stank face in a video, this would be one of the, like, definitely, probably hitting a 9, maybe even a 9.5. That's a pedal, isn't it, that one?
Well, thank you. But
I
tell you what, it's growing up. Back to what we were saying before, listening to that Stevie Ray Vaughan concert when I was like 10. He clicked on this effect, and it was like the most piercing sound ever. But it was just the coolest thing I've ever heard. And in fact, he sort of went like this. It was like. And that stayed with me for years, and I was like, we have to recreate that if we can,
Yeah.
Oof, that's epic. Do you use a wah as well? I mean, I'm not just in your. What's your pedal board when you're out gigging? What's on it?
Yeah. Well, you've got a bigger pedal board than me actually.
It's all your fault.
We like to include a wah, don't we? In like, also,
because it feels to me like
you need a wah,
sound, and then forward on the wah, that riff, and all of a sudden that's it. You've just melted the faces of everyone in the audience. It's just epic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But is it? What is your board relatively? Simple. It's that and a wah-wah, is it basically? That's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we also make a chicken quiff pedal.
Yes. Why did you not bring one today?
I'll blame that on Paul.
It's
in the car.
It's kind of in the car. My dad's driven off somewhere, so we might get it later.
Well, we'll wait for your dad to come back.
My bad.
What does the chicken quiff do?
Again, it's a Cesar Diaz pedal that we've took his friend. This is looking bad on us, but yeah, we're the first ones to do it.
We're honouring him.
Yeah.
I'd heard the name, but I don't know a great deal about. Is he still alive?
No, sadly he passed away actually. Yeah, but that he used to make a pedal called the Tremodillo.
Oh, brilliant!
In case you needed a more wacky name than that, so we called it the chicken quiff for no reason. There's no context, but
all right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to hear that. So let's have a short toilet and tea break, and go and see if Paul's dad's back yet, and then hopefully we shall bring you the chicken quiff any second now. Nothing wrong with that, is there? It's very sort of inclined to chop the sound almost, isn't it? Like a more extreme kind of tremolo type thing. There's tons of speed in there. I'm not hugely familiar with that sort of. I don't instantly think of a tremolo effect when you think of Stevie or Hendrix. So is that more of an edge case, like, there's one or two tracks that you particularly love that he did use that on, or have I just, or was it a mainstay of his kind of board and sound?
Well, do you know what? Everyone was asking us to complete the trilogy of the 3 Cesar Diaz pedals that he made. So this was we had to do it. We had so many requests for it, and it was to serve those people. It doesn't necessarily lean into the Stevie style of stuff as much, but there is that connection.
Did Cesar do stuff for other artists as well, or was he really just known as Stevie's tech?
He was a massive tech for, I think, guys like Clapton, like Santana. He was actually a very well respected
he's
guitar
one of the
tech.
best in the game. He was like the guitar doctor or something they called him.
Really?
Amp doctor.
I should know about this chap, so I'll have to go and do some
But it's funny,
research.
Not a lot of people do it. Even I don't know. He just seems to have gone below the
Doesn't
radar.
get the credit that he deserves, maybe, for some of the stuff that he did.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah.
Guitar techs of the world, unite! You are underappreciated. We are officially appreciating you. Well, look, that was great, man. I mean, I'm excited about where this journey goes. Pedals made in the UK, right? There's not enough of those.
Handmade,
There's there's you guys and there's Thorpe and Audio Kitchen, Audio Kitchen,
Origin, all of those guys
Origin,
as well,
yeah. So we do good, but there's there's probably 50 American brands for every one British one, isn't there? So
yesterday we was rewatching a video of you talking about with Josh Scott all of the British brands. It was a couple of years back, and you mentioned everyone, but we wasn't there. To be fair, we wasn't really. I don't think we was even there, but we was like. I remember watching that at the time, thinking I need to get onto Andertons.
It's I remember that video because I think Josh, that was to do with the Fuzzes that he'd just launched, and he'd done a real deep dive, and he did credit the UK with a lot of that sort of early fuzz kind of influences.
Yeah.
But because we make amazing amps, we've got incredible heritage in guitar amps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So pedals, come on. Fly the flag. But so, how much are these? Is it? Are we reflecting perhaps a little bit better value if you're British made and buying British pedals, or
As Danish Pete said before, if you buy cheap, you buy twice.
absolutely.
So,
Yes.
This is a case of that.
No. So what do you pay for a pedal porn pedal?
They
It's
are.
like Peter Piper picked a pedals. What do you pay for a pedal porn pedal?
You won't be able to do that again.
Yeah. What do they cost?
These three are 197.
Yeah.
This one's 177. So cheap as anything.
Yeah. What's
It's
the
cheaper
seven
'cause you get two
obsession
knobs.
then? Is that another like, you know?
I don't
I
know.
ever go at him about that all the time. Just say
Yeah.
it's just weird, but
It is weird, but maybe that's your thing. Fine.
Yeah.
So change out of £200, and that's all right for a handmade pedal, and it's certainly not over the top, is it? Well, look.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming on board. We shall put links below. Whether you're interested in buying a pedal porn pedal or not, their Instagram channel is worth a follow, just because it's they've got a funny sense of humour, or a good, very British sense of humour. They don't mind
not
poking a bit.
necessarily good, but yeah.
They don't mind poking a bit of fun at themselves. So that's all good. We'll be stocking all of these now. I think we're all rather keen to try some sort of weird 4-way jam thing, or I don't know, it might have to be 2 at a time. I'm not really sure, but hopefully we're going to play a bit. But look, it's lovely to meet you both.
Thank you so much. This is really,
Congratulations again, and wish
Yeah.
you all the best in the future with these. And yes, there we are. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and
thank you.
subscribe. And you can jump back in your car and drive 6 hours home.
Let's go. Yeah.
Brilliant.
We've got 5
Okay.
guys after this, so we're happy. Yeah.
yeah, burger time.
Nice. All right. Okay. See you guys next time.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.